I've been watching a lot of cart narc videos.
What are those?
I think I sent you a few. It's that guy that goes around parking lots of people that don't put their shopping carts away.
Yeah.
He gets them.
Yeah.
What I love is there's so many of them, and every single person who's in the wrong because they just leave their shopping cart where, in an open parking lot where it can hit another car, fly off, flip over. Usually it's blocking a parking space. They always get irate and always threaten. Usually they're most out of shape people, and they're always trying to fight this guy.
Yeah.
Because he says, hey, you didn't put your cart away. Like, he's very polite about it.
They pay people to do that.
Yeah, and it's just they cannot be wrong. It's weird. It's this weird psychological thing where he's like, hey, you didn't put your shopping cart away, and they know they're wrong, but they just can't in their head admit that they're wrong. Like, I'm sure, as long as that guy's probably, because I looked on his profile, and he has like 1 million followers on Instagram, so I'm sure at some point he has videos where someone's like, you're right, and they put the cart away.
Right, yeah.
But most of them just get very angry, and they'll run around, chase them, do all this shit that they could have just put the cart away and been done and gone, and the aggravation. Because what gets him is he always has a sticker or something, or
like a magnet.
A magnet. If he goes to put the magnet on, they fucking lose it. He puts it on their car.
I mean, though, I'd be mad though too if somebody put something on my car.
Well, put your cart away.
Well, yeah.
But the funny thing was, I watched one today where a lady calls 911.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she calls 911 because the guy's, I don't know. She's like, this guy's harassing me in a parking lot. And then they asked his ethnicity, and she's like, surprisingly, he's a white asshole.
Wow.
So that kind of tells you everything you need to know about that lady. And then she got like her adult son to try to beat him up, and I was like, when you could put the fucking cart away? Just put the cart away. Like, her cart, like, she put it just shittily, almost like where the main like part of the road was, and it just starts taking off, kind of like the wind's pushing it. You can see it's gonna eventually go and hit a car, and she still just walks away. When the guy points it out, doesn't care. It wasn't even like, oh, I stuck it in the grass or something. No, it's just fucking.
What would be the first one to be pissed off if a loose cart went and, dinged up their car?
The litmus test of just being a decent person, putting your fucking cart away. What I would like
even at least close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What I would like instead of cart narcs is cart narcos. Like some fucking, I want some cartel cart guys.
Just start cutting off heads for not putting your buggies away.
I think, maybe not that violent, but I think we should start the cart cartel. And it'll be our version, but it'll be like those guys that catch those pedophiles and then beat the shit out of them. Like, I think they do call the cops on them. Maybe I don't even remember if they do call the cops, but it's like they lure them into boxing matches, or they just beat the shit out of them. And they're like, you can't do anything because you're here to meet a 12-year-old girl, you freak.
I remember the one video you sent me. Like, they were just there to meet him at the thing, and he tried to leave, and one bigger guy grabbed him and threw him in the air, and the other guy punched him, and when the guy was in midair.
It was fucking awesome.
I was like, what kind of combo move is this?
It's like a fucking wrestling fucking tag team move. But I enjoy those, so I would like a cartel version of those where, somebody doesn't put their cart away. Like, hey, you didn't put your cart away. If they get irate, just pick up the cart, throw it through their fucking windshield.
They're like, just have enough money and time to be like, you'd be like, oh, that person didn't put their cart away. You can just follow them to the next place they go, and then just surround their car with buggies, just like in a big circle. They can't go anywhere now.
Yeah. I think the state of the world has radicalized me because I'm just edging towards violence on every. It's almost like I'm looking for reasons to be violent now.
Yeah.
In the real world, which isn't good. Like, I'll be out and about, and an old person stops in front of me, and how they do when you're shopping, they just stop and just stand there in the fucking way. I just want to fucking shoulder them.
City.
Yeah, well, that'd be good too. I just want to see their old bones crumple behind me as I German suplex them through a rack of clothes. I'm just so sick of fucking everybody being a selfish asshole, unaware of their surroundings.
And that's the worst part. It's like one thing whenever you're an asshole and you're like knowingly being an asshole. It's the ones that aren't even aware,
oblivious
when they're being an asshole.
Yeah, that drives me absolutely insane. Or like the people who decide that they have to have a family reunion in the middle of a store in the main aisle, and they're blocking fucking everything. Or the person that goes up to a cash register and then they go, you know what? I should pay for this $100 purchase in nickels. Let me count each and every one. Or my personal favorite is, hey, we've all been standing in line at this fucking shitty Chipotle for 20 minutes. And as soon as you get up there, now you're making your decision on what you want. You could have been deciding this whole time, but no, you waited.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So those things make violence bubble up inside of me. And I'm wondering if I didn't work so much and wasn't tired all the time, if that violence would take root and become action.
I mean, it would probably help if you wasn't so tired and worked so much.
But I might not be as irritable.
Yeah, you might not be as irritable, but I do feel like just with the state of the world, there would still be a lingering like anger. It might not be so easily released, but it would still be there.
I wouldn't be able to extinguish the flame of fury that builds and rages inside of me, no matter what I do or how much violence I commit. If anything, I'll just stoke those flames and make it worse. That's my fear, is like I finally succumb to my baser urges and punch out somebody who cut me off in traffic, and then that unleashes something where it's like, this is what I do now.
It's almost like when you hear like the drug addicts or ex-drug addicts where like it's like, I can't even have like a sip of beer or I'm doing heroin in my asshole.
Yeah.
Like wow. So it's like as soon as you like you break the seal,
it's done.
On that, like you said, you just become one of those guys now.
Yeah.
Your neck gets really thick. You have a lot of arm tattoos now.
Pleasant.
You look like you've been out in the sun for 3 days straight.
Yeah, you get that leathery skin that only comes from the dehydration of pounding energy drinks to replace your, to supplement your booze habit that you can no longer imbibe in. On later news, last night we went out and did some drinking and ate some barbecue. Then I came home and continued drinking, and I finished watching Wednesday season 2.
Okay.
I read some things on Reddit about the show. I'm not gonna give anything away about how it ended. Like there's a few surprises they threw in there. Maybe because I was drinking, I thought they were well done because I didn't see them coming. Okay. Which as a writer just makes me happy that they were able to do something I didn't see coming. So I actually liked it, but everyone was furious. Well, like a lot of people. Apparently, everybody just hates everything.
Yeah, like well, even like the first season, I was hearing people just talking about like how like just like not good it was or whatever. Like it's there's this comic book podcast I listen to, and one of the main guys is like he's like a big Tim Burton guy, and he's like after the first season when he's like I'm not watching another Tim Burton thing ever again, and I was like it can't be that bad.
I don't think it's bad at all. I thought it was fun. I mean, you have to take it what it is. One, it's an Addams Family thing,
right?
So I feel they did a very good job of keeping the Addams Family feel. You think of the 90s where everything's morbid and everybody's dying and we're very angsty. You keep that, but still have it so fucking Gen Z can watch it now and not be super offended or whatever. I thought it was fine. I saw some people. Well, that's the thing. It's like because the Tim Burton stuff. Like a lot of people were like, "Oh, Tim Burton doesn't have black people in his movies," and blah blah blah. And that's like that was the modern knock that he started getting a few years back. But this has, a diverse cast. They went back and actually made the Addams I don't know if they're supposed to be Mexican, but like what is it? Luis Guzman is Gomez, and people got offended by that. Except for if you look at the original Addams Family, Gomez was not handsome for one. He was a short, fat, Mexican-looking guy.
Right, yeah.
His name's Gomez.
Yeah.
So I thought I liked it. I thought everything was good. And you know me, I don't like things anymore.
And I was saying that's saying something like from like they said the guy who's been like not liking anything recently to being like Wednesday. Wednesday season 2.
I liked the dialogue. I thought was good. Now, granted, the plot a lot of times was a little convoluted and stupid, but that's anything. But for like a show that's still aimed at a younger audience, like I really liked the atmosphere. I thought the writing was pretty smart. The dialogue was fun. Maybe you could say like the plot and like the way things ended on a lot of cliffhangers and shit. You could say, okay, that was stupid, but that's anything. So I thought it was fine. I liked it, and I'm not embarrassed to say so. I don't know why people feel like they can't enjoy things anymore. Because that's the first thing I said. It was like everyone on that Reddit thing I was reading were saying, I hated season 1. Why'd you watch season 2? You're commenting on season 2. You watched the whole thing. So people like hate watch stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I do if I watch 2 episodes of a show I don't like? I don't watch it anymore. That's simple. If it's a show I do like, but then I'm like, oh, halfway through the second season and this thing is just fucking dog shit now, I just don't watch it.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people insist on hate watching. Like I got people on Facebook that have been on this podcast before that I read their post and like they hate watch wrestling every week.
Oh, yeah.
Or they hate watch CW shows. It's everything. It's always fucking, why do you want to live in a world where everything you are partaking in you don't like? Well, and you just bitch about it. Like, why is that your release?
It's just so weird, and it depends on like if you've come up and then, like that's your thing. Like you have like a podcast or a YouTube channel where you like talk about that stuff. It becomes like, well, I have to watch it because people expect me to talk about it. Yeah, and even if I don't like it, But
these are people going out of their way on their own personal accounts, just saying they don't like shit, and then like that's becoming their curmudgeon personality, even if it's just an online personality.
Especially now because there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
You should be able to find something somewhere that you like.
Well, that's the thing is like, why are you wasting time? Like, as you know, me, I stop wasting time reading or watching things that I know I'm not going to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's like, I might like it just enough, but I'm going to think it's mediocre and not really enjoy it that much, I'm just not going to watch it. Like, I don't feel that need, I'm going to miss out on the next Marvel movie if I think it looks fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. And I ask you what it was, it was okay.
Yeah.
Like, if it's okay, I don't care.
Right,
I'm not going to waste my time on it. I don't got the time to waste. If you say, oh, that's really good, then I'll check it out.
Mm-hmm.
If you say, oh, that's worthwhile. But if you say, hey, it's okay, it's like, well, I'm not that deep into that stuff. I'm not going to waste my time.
Yeah.
That'd be like me reading a fucking some classic book, and you're like, oh, how was that 500-page book? It was okay.
Mediocre.
You're probably not going to watch it. You're not going to read it. You're like, why waste the time? But if you're really into classic lit and that's the one on your bucket list, then yeah, maybe you'll read it anyway. But I cannot fathom why people now want to hate things. It's like they want to. It's not even a matter of just, oh, I hate everything. It's like they want to hate things.
Well, we were also talking about this before, like how much of that is just artificial, because going and saying how much stuff you hate or don't like gets you more attention than you talking about the stuff that you do like, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it does. And you can tell how fake these opinions are sometimes, because if you look like on the Reddit things, like even on that Wednesday one, there was a couple people who just straight up was like, everything that was mentioned that this person hated about the ending of the season, they're like, oh, I love those. I loved all of those. I was so happy. Like how I felt. I was like, oh, I really enjoyed the twist. And, these little, their takes on because I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, here's the origin of the Addams Family. Sticks like that forever.
Right.
If it's a different medium and it's a different avenue, it's a different interpretation, who cares?
Yeah.
The original still exists. Like they were talking about, that fucking shitty Amazon Lord of the Rings show that they just butchered Lord of the Rings. You know what I did? I watched I don't know how many episodes of that first season, thought, well, this is shit. I just stopped watching it. I didn't say, oh, they killed my childhood or they killed Lord of the Rings and now I can never enjoy Lord of the Rings again because they made all these changes that were off. No, the original Lord of the Rings exist. I could just go read that again or watch the original trilogy. I don't have to, I can pretend this fucking thing doesn't exist. But a lot of these people, they get very upset and you can see how fake their opinion is because you'll challenge them on whatever their stupid opinion is on something, why they hate something, and a lot of the times they won't back it up hard. Like they'll just kind of cave in, or they'll just be like, okay, yeah, I can see why you like that, or just stop talking. They won't double down, like no, that was shit because of this and that. Those people, they don't actually care.
Well, I can say a lot of times when somebody says that they don't like something, and you're like, why? Like, can you give me an example of why you didn't like it?
Yeah,
and they're just like, I just didn't like it.
I just didn't like it. Well, it's like I don't really care about your opinion, man. But that's one thing that also drives me nuts is like, okay, we have a movie with a black Superman, and now Superman's ruined, right? Because that's what some people would say. Why? The original Superman does not exist anymore, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
If we change Batman's lore or change his origin, the original Batman doesn't exist anymore, apparently? I don't get that. I don't understand that they killed my childhood by making a sequel to a movie that didn't need a sequel, and then the sequel fucking sucked. And now that means the original movie is somehow tainted and awful.
Right.
Like, I don't care if they fucking put Luke Skywalker in a dress and then killed him graphically on one of the fucking Star Wars movies. That doesn't mean the original Luke Skywalker didn't. Like, you can just say, oh, that's not canon for me.
Yeah,
like,
there's your own personal, this is my canon. This is what I feel.
It's weird how people interpret these fantasy worlds as if they're real. Like once something changes or something, unless there's a big retcon, like some Marvel retcon where, oh yeah, we actually decided to delete that alternate universe that you didn't realize was the alternate universe. So everything that you liked is actually still in existence. Like, it doesn't matter. It's fantasy. Yeah, and it's also not real.
Yeah, and also because the physical books are still there. You can still read those books with your universe in it or what. You know?
But even if you change everything and never go back, it doesn't matter. It's not real. You could write a fucking story and just say, okay, it's real for my story. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't know why people get so attached to these things like they're real. And that's not even a modern thing because, you think about Star Wars back in the 70s and 80s, how people were attached to it. Like, people have been doing this for a very long time where they, fanatic. That's where the fan comes from. Fanatic. Like, they get attached to fucking shit like this. Before it was music, like the Beatles and stuff. It's like people get so attached to these things that it actually becomes real to them.
Yeah.
Like, it's important, and it's not. Like it's fiction. It's fantasy. None of these things are actually important. They shouldn't be swaying your life. When somebody says, somebody goes online and says Michael Jordan isn't the best basketball player, LeBron James is, that shouldn't ruin your day because you don't agree with it. You know what I mean? Like, that shouldn't fucking piss you off to the degree that you see these people have fucking giant Facebook wars or Instagram wars and comment sections for hours. No, here's the stats and blah, blah. Who gives a fuck? Does it matter? It doesn't. So
unless if you're a Skip Bayless that's saying LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, because then you're just wrong because you're Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless would never say that though. Skip Bayless hates LeBron James.
Oh yeah, that is right. Yeah, he was the
to an utmost degree.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, that was a long cold of them because it's probably gonna be a short episode because we are covering Deathbed Confessionals by A.D. Jones. It's a short story collection, and it's not out yet, so we can't spoil a bunch of stuff, so we can't actually talk about the stories too deeply. So we will go into it, because we read it. We'll tell you if we liked it or not. Do you think we liked it? Or maybe we'll have a hate podcast.
It fucking sucked.
It was the worst thing ever. A.D. Jones shit on my childhood, and he attacked my grandma with a bat.
Made me burn my Kindle.
I burnt my Kindle, and then I threw it in the garbage. And then my garbage can burned. My bin. He's English, though.
Yeah.
It's a bin.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, we will be back after this musical interlude. I come up with a fancy name for Spencer, and that could take hours.
Or days.
With very, very long deliberation on these names. I don't come up with them immediately on the spot. I would never do such a thing.
No.
You are listening to the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb James. With me as always, and this was the name that he decided he really wanted. He picked it. I had nothing to do with it.
No, lies. Fake news.
Spencer,
fake news.
Spencer, the Tasmanian Turd Taster Church.
Aww.
You said Tosser.
Yeah.
Which would have been fine.
Yeah.
I thought Toucher.
Especially with the Tasmanian. I didn't know you was going with the...
Yeah. I thought Toucher... Which would have been fun, too, because you could be on the ground, coming out of the butt, you run up and touch it. Maybe just a person who you think is a turd, you touch them. But no, you're tasting.
I don't like
Why
that.
are you tasting?
I don't like that.
What if, maybe I'll write this story, Spencer.
Oh, God.
You have a psychic ability.
All right.
Actually, this was a comic book I think we read, but it'll be grosser the way I do it. So the only way you could use your psychic ability to solve crimes is by tasting the objects.
Okay.
But you gotta taste poo-poo to solve a certain crime. Are you doing it?
I'm not doing it.
What if it was your mother's murder?
But then I would have I'd have to find the criminal's poop.
It was left there on the scene. That's the criminal's calling card.
He just poops.
Yeah. Yeah, they call him the demonic dumper.
Oh.
Oh, yuck. So you doing it, though?
I don't think I can.
Oh, man, just a lick. The deeper you lick, the more information that goes through your brain. Yeah. The more the scene unfolds. So if you're chomping down on that deuce, you solve the crime immediately.
Now, if you throw up, do you just throw up all the information, too? Do you just forget it?
If you Ralph, your mind's warped, or it's wiped. You lose it. You lose it all.
Yeah, because that's the issue. I just don't think I'd be able to keep it down. So it's what's the point of even?
You probably get used to it over time.
I don't wanna.
What was that comic I'm thinking of though?
You're thinking of Chew, and it was.
He had to eat.
Yeah,
and he was biting corpses and stuff. So kind of gross.
Yeah.
That was one of those ones I remember going, this could have been a lot more fun than it was. It was all right, but it could have been better.
Well, and that's also, too, that's one of the things where, it ran for, 50 or 60 issues. So, as you get more into it, it just gets more ridiculous and just, ups the ante,
Start running out of things to chew.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not talking about Chew. We're talking about Deathbed Confessionals by A.D. Jones. This comes out October 1st.
So, when this comes out,
we could either drop this. I was going to drop the Stephen King episode recording after this next week.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me go to the old calendar, make sure my dates are correct, because I wanted this to be as close to the release date as I could. I don't remember what day the release is. If I release this episode, what's today, Spencer?
The
I'm
20th.
This calendar sucks. So we're on the 20th. So yeah, I'll release the Stephen King episode the 23rd, which means September 30th, the day before this episode would drop. So that works perfectly.
Good.
That works excellently. So Spencer, I'm going to go through these stories real quick by Mr. Jones. What did we cover last year? Born of Bloodshed from him.
Yeah.
His Gnome novella, which was rather enjoyable. Before we get into this, let's just get the whiskey shots out of the way.
Okay.
Now, I gave this a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads because my ratings are more skewed on there. But the DPW ratings are a little more sophisticated. We do this with a flourish, a touch of inebriation. We get drunk and then go, you like that book? I like that book. So I gave this a solid 4 shots out of 5 whiskey shots.
Yeah, I would do 4.
Maybe throw in a half, but as I told you off air, there's actually just one story I didn't like, which is pretty good because, usually a short story collection, it's hard to get the majority of stories to hit depending on the author. So the fact that I only dislike one story, I think, is pretty telling. Now, the problem is, since this comes out October 1st, this book, we can't actually break down all the stories and go into detail because that would spoil everything, you know? So we picked one story that we'll talk a little more in detail about, still not like super detailed. Then the rest I'm just going to, mention, and we'll this general synopsis, something along those lines. So first up, we kick off this collection, which is a very interesting story, Midnight in the Subway. This story was originally published in Who Let the Gods Out from Wicked Shadow Press in March of 2025, which I'm also in. So I was already well aware of this story, but I read it again for this one because it was a cool story. It is a story of a man who finds himself waiting for a subway. Simple enough. But something happens. The people get locked into the subway station. They cannot leave, and without giving too much away, a lot of very creepy shit happens.
Yes.
The people do end up on this. I'm trying not to give away the suspense because you don't even know if they're going to end up on the subway, but they do end up on the subway. And then some, let's just say, like, visions of hell kind of happen.
Yeah.
But they seem to be happening for real to these people. It's a very fucked up situation. Some fun character development throughout. You get multiple characters, and you kind of, without being able to give like backstory and stuff, I felt like the characters were pretty original in this. Just with like how they react. It was more of a reactionary piece, like how these people are reacting to what's going on to them. And then you get these weird visions of hell and some very gory, gross bits, and then a twist ending I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
That's what I wish we would have covered this one, but again, I don't really want it. This one, it's hard to want it. Like, I don't want to ruin something that is that fun. You know, like when you get a cool ending like that, I don't want to ruin that by talking about, especially first on here.
Yeah.
So that right there, you jump in is.
But I do feel like it's a good first story in the
kickoff.
Yeah.
To kick off the madness. Yeah, I liked it. Second up is In Conversation with the Dead. This was another one I read. Before this. This was in Horoscope of Zodiac Anthology, Volume 3 from January Ember Press. This came out September 2023. This was my first print book I was in. What was my story? Bathed in Starlight was in that collection. And Mr. Jones, before I even knew who he was also in this with this story. This is like what I appreciated about this story is like a fun vampire story. As fun as a vampire story to be. But I mean, it's fun because, it starts with some grisly murders, a cool like underwater body scene, let's just say. But what ends up happening is A.D. Jones does a very fun breakdown of mythology. So like the folklore behind vampires, without giving it away, he breaks it down from the perspective of the vampire debunking popular vampire myths. I thought that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. And it turns out to be, even though as gruesome as it starts, it's kind of just like a fun story. Next up is The House Provides. This one, I was not expecting it to go where it went. Yeah. So you had a couple of young friends, which I do notice is a theme in this book, is a lot of kids and teenagers and maybe early 20-year-olds, like going on fucking little, I wouldn't say adventures, misadventures?
Things happening to them.
Bad things happening to them, yeah. Which was also
victims.
Like the Born of Bloodshed was another one of those with a bunch of teenagers getting brutally fucking hurt a lot. Hurt is an understatement. So The House Provides is about a couple of kids. They're doing some things. There's a creepy homeless guy that's involved, and old spook house thing.
Like a haunted.
How every neighborhood, you think of back in the 80s and 90s, how of your youth, every town has its haunted house, a real haunted house. Some abandoned Victorian that's on the mid outskirts of town or something, like right before you leave the city limits, you get this fucking creepy house. You think of the house from It or, any of those iterations of things like that. And these kids have to explore it to test their bravery, to see if the urban legends of ghosts are true. And what unfollows is fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucked up tale with a fucked up ending. Then we move on to A Steady Constant. I'm surprised the house provides, by the way, wasn't in published. I don't know if that's the thing. I don't know if the ones that weren't published previously were submitted anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And just, because I remember when we had him on here, he said that, or maybe it was just when I talked to him offline. He was like, or when I talked to him online, he was like, hey, something doesn't get published, I'll just publish it myself. And he's like, why don't you guys do that? I was like, I'm not that adventurous enough.
Yeah.
I don't have that entrepreneurial spirit. So Steady Constant was first printed in Curbside Curses, the Yard's Tale anthology from House of the Macabre, June 2024. I'm pretty sure I saw the Curbside Curses won like awards or something. Like it was a very popular anthology.
Cool.
Yeah. This was a very interesting premise. Guy goes to yard sale, buys a old shaving kit, uses the shaving kit, and this is like a buddy story. So it's like him and his friend, and they have a pretty fun dynamic. But the one guy shaves and he kind of like nicks his face, and what ensues is, so for instance, he nicks his face, and not only will the injury not heal, but it's like he constantly feels the initial injury. So like at some point I think he rolls his ankle or something, and for the whole story then all of a sudden he's just like, it just constantly feels like I just rolled my ankle, like fresh. So every injury he gets, which just accrues over the story, it doesn't stop.
Yeah, like early on, like he stubs his toe.
Yeah.
And forever for the rest.
Stubbed toe.
Yeah, his toe just
not just the fact that it won't heal, not the fact that it hurts, but the fact that it feels like he just stubbed it. Like the whole story now, you're just like you're stubbing your toe over and over. So it's pretty wild. And then the I don't want to say body count, because that's not the right phrase, but just the injury count just keeps going up. So that's a fun one. I can see why that got picked up for the Curbside Curses, because that's a very unique take on the I think that was like a yard sale. Yeah, yard sale anthology. The next one, which is the one you chose for us to do a deeper dive into, is Pen Me a Nightmare. I actually do have a little backstory on this. I'm pretty sure just by reading this had to be the one that he wrote for that writer's retreat, but it got rejected. And my story that I wrote for the writer's retreat, Pain the Midnight Muse, also was rejected. But that's the one that's going to get published in Dark Homes as the bonus tale in the Ethereal Nightmares 3-volume anthology. Like they're putting an omnibus together of those the trilogy, and I am the only bonus story. So my story was accepted eventually. I don't know if he probably had the problem I had, is like most places don't want stories about writers. That's a common trope, and then most places don't want writer stories. So where do you submit that?
Yeah.
That anthology was specifically about writers dealing with whatever. So this story starts with the writer Colin. You remember what his last name was?
Oh, they said it, but I can't remember what it was.
I know the fella used a typewriter. Baby. Anyway, this Colin feller, he is a writer of some merit, but doesn't seem to have any luck getting published. Or I think it starts off with he has a bunch of stories and different things that he's trying to get published, but just constant rejections, and maybe he has like slight positive feedback, but he's not getting anywhere, and he wants to be a writer. He wants to live the high life. He wants riches and fame and fortune. And what ends up happening is he meets a man in a bar, comes up to him, handsome man, a devilish man. And this fella makes him a deal. You know where it's going, don't you? Deal with the devil.
Deal with the devil.
And he makes this deal, and it's a very vague deal. He doesn't even have the details of the deal. Like, he doesn't know exactly what's going to happen. Obviously, it's a deal with the devil. But the guy's like, hey, whatever you write, you're getting published, and just leave it to me, kid. And it's a little strange, but he's like, all right, whatever. What does it hurt? And then what happens is he does get his fame and fortune and his riches. Every story he writes, every book he writes is a bestseller all of a sudden. But the issue is whatever he's writing about seems to happen for real.
Yeah, like one of his novels, like a vampire story or something, and like some family somewhere ended up dying from their blood being drained out of them and stuff like that.
So it happens in a way that's not going to cause suspicion.
But that he might not even really hear about it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think the character doesn't even realize this is happening necessarily because it's happening around the world. Like, just, he wrote the vampire story, but it wasn't in like something like a different country or something. Or like a lot of these events that he would write about, whatever evil monkey's paw version happens in the real world, more often than not, it would be happening somewhere he probably wouldn't even catch on the news. But eventually he decides to write, to test this theory or whatever, an apocalyptic story where basically the world's going to end, right?
But he does it very like slow moving, so that once the book get published, it would take a while. And
not just a comet blowing everything up.
And there's very like deliberate things. He doesn't go into detail, but he has things that happen that without a doubt that would be like, if this happens, then it's me.
Yeah. So what he ends up doing, the ending of this tale, I still don't feel like we actually gave too much away, which is nice. But the ending of this tale is he's going to write a novella that's going to undo it all.
Yeah.
So hopefully
that's the plan, at least.
Yeah, that's what he's hoping, is he's going to be able to undo the end of the world. Because what's the point? Because he does get all his riches and everything he ever wanted, but what's the point if there's no world to live in? Which is a little bit of a commentary on fucking asshole billionaires.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point of amassing all this wealth if there's not going to be a world to live in to enjoy it?
Honestly, I think that's one good thing. One thing I like about Mr. Jones's writing is that I feel like we could go and be more deliberate with the stories, but you'd still enjoy them because of the way that he has written them.
Yeah. Just stylistically, there's a lot I think people can enjoy, even if you didn't necessarily enjoy the story. It's almost like a Stephen King aspect where a lot of people was like, well, I didn't actually like that story, but the way it was written, I still enjoyed it. Next up is Swap Meet. Swap Meet, first printed in 12 Months of Horror from Dark Village Publications, came out in March 2024. This was about a couple, which I got from Jump Street. They were bad news.
Yeah.
They just seem sketchy to me. But they go to swap meets and stuff, and they're like trying to sell Legos or something, or they're going to buy Legos off a lady, but they're like selling garbage. I don't know. And then they go to this lady's house, which I will say out of most of the stories here, the characters' motivations are kind of believable. This lady was a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, she's just getting these two fucking people. I was like, is this going to be like a sex thing or something? Why is she inviting them over like this?
It did seem like very like, oh, this is going to be like a weird, like you said, like sex kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's not.
No, it was just a lady that wants to make them tea and sell these fucking Legos out of her house to them. And then these people turn out to be, let's just say hunks of shit.
Yeah.
In the worst possible sense. And what unfurls is a bloody mess that leaves you pissed off, hating they're not protagonists. I guess it's one of the stories written from like the view of the antagonist. So you don't like these people. And then I didn't even like the lady because she was so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, how could you be so naive to get two random drifters from a swap meet to come over to your house? Like, bring the Legos to them. What are you thinking? But yeah, it did come off still like kind of like sex stuff. So maybe she did want sex stuff. I don't know. Next up is The Reunion. This was an unpublished story, and I can see this getting published somewhere. It is a more, I wouldn't say heartwarming, because heartwarming is not the correct term. It's a little fun Halloween tale that gets not fun very quickly. So there's a dad who, I don't think it's mentioned right away, but he lost his daughter. Mm-hmm. And him and his wife were having this post-child loss marriage that's like, you know how that's a tale of time. Yeah.
They're very quiet. They're not talking a lot.
It's a rough dynamic. It's like they still want to love each other, but it's like,
she takes a lot of sleeping pills.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. Think of like a Pet Sematary or something. And much like Pet Sematary, the ending of this is pretty fucking twisted. But what is unfolding is a Halloween tale about kids trick-or-treating. And then there's a kid dressed in a typical generic sheet ghost costume out front, who's just standing in the street, and the dad notices. And as the story unfurls, you finally figure out who the ghost is, and more menacingly, the ghost's friend.
Yeah.
So that it's kind of fucked up. It's a little fucked up. But also like a sad ending that immediately turns to the macabre.
Yeah.
It gets a little twisted. So after that one, we have Invitation to Dinner, which we read in. Now it says first printed in Halloween Remains October 2024. That's a goddamn lie. It was first printed with us with me in Siren's Call issue 66.
He might have just been going for physical print.
Well, they're also defunct, so
yeah.
Halloween Remains is the only place you could read it. So I would say first printing. But this one was the one we talked about when he was on the air, where it's like a Cthulhu type tale.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna give much away, but that's a fun one.
It's a very interesting take on it.
Yeah, it starts off with almost like a House of Leaves kind of creep factor, where it's like, what the fuck is going on, and then it goes into Cthulhu stuff. After that, this is the one we were talking about, maybe doing the deep dive into, was The Taurus. The Taurus, first printed in Howlin' For You, a werewolf charity anthology from Voices from the Mausoleum, September 2024. Mausoleum's a word I always forget to use in my morbid works, but I need to. The Taurus, it's not that I don't like werewolf stories. I'm just generally not a huge werewolf story reader.
Yeah.
I don't know. But this one was, I don't want to say fun, so I keep saying that, but it was again, much like the Conversation with the Dead, it was a myth-busting story, kind of. So this one deals with werewolves and their lore, but you get, again, from the perspective of the werewolves, a break into the lore. It's like, what is not real? What is real?
Well, one of the reasons why I thought about this, of when we could talk more in depth about, which we won't, but is like, I wouldn't mind him doing a novella with the main character and the supporting group and stuff like that. I think there'd be a lot more there that he could do something with.
It's like a werewolf mob story almost. There's a mob feel to it, because it's like this guy is what is the term I'm looking for? Who's the not extractor, not protector. What's the term for the mob guy? That's the fixer.
Yeah.
This guy's like the fixer, but he's a werewolf. And what he has to do is deal with werewolves that have come about who are not just in the mob, but just not in the werewolf community.
It's not part of the pact or whatever.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be the tourist, an outsider. So the fixer has to come and fix the problem, which is a roving werewolf eating people, giving them all a bad name.
Yeah.
You know how it is. After the Taurus, we have Incarnate. This is the one I did not like. It is a story about circus and clowns that turned out to be demons, which was cool.
Yeah.
I did not like this for a few reasons. One, I just didn't like the teenagers. I think they were teenagers. I just didn't like them. Like the way they're grouped, like the way they talk to each other, and I just didn't like any of them. I don't know. I don't know if it was when I read it, but I also don't like clown stories. I think clowns are dumb.
Yeah.
I've never been into, I just actually started watching Are You Afraid of the Dark, the original.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that second episode, Zebo the Clown.
Okay.
And I remember that as a kid, I was like, I didn't like that fucking episode. I thought it was dumb, but that's rated one of the highest rated episodes. I watched it again. I was like, this is fucking stupid. Clowns are fucking dumb. Even it. I'm like, the clown does not scare me. Clowns never scared me. In fact, something about him makes me want to punch him. The fact that the antagonist of this story comes across as a clown that this teenager, early 20-something, however old he's supposed to be, I forget, who is from a childhood frightening experience carries on into later life, that he's super scared of clowns to the point of pissing himself or whatever. I'm like, I don't believe it. I know I've met people that have severe clown phobia, whatever it's called. I just think it's dumb. I don't know.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this story? I wasn't a fucking fan.
It was alright. I liked it more once the shit started to happen at the circus, just because it got more into his, the way he does his gore and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So once it kind of got into that stuff, I was like, oh, this is better. But yeah, the setup wasn't what I think it is how you were saying, out of all the characters and all the different stories, I feel like these ones weren't probably set up the best, or whatever.
Which also, again, I don't know if he submitted this anywhere, but this was an unpublished one, so maybe he just couldn't get it anywhere. Maybe it was one he wrote for an anthology and it just didn't place, and I think I remember him saying he was writing it for some kind of circus or clown thing. Could be. Actually, to me, it comes across as some stories I've written where I wrote it specifically for a themed anthology or an open call, and it's almost like you're shoehorning it in to fit. So maybe you have an idea for the story or a different story, and then you're like, let me make it clown-esque, let me make this fucking demon story a circus story so I can get into this anthology. I don't know if that's the case. That's just how it comes across to me, but that was the only story in this collection I didn't enjoy. Next up is A Lamb to the Slaughter. This one was a weird serial killer story where I don't even know how to describe it, but let's say an apartment complex is the actual antagonist.
A flat?
No, I didn't say flat.
Okay.
I'd say, I think it's like an apartment complex or like a condominium. I don't know, a big building where people live. It's a weird tale about two serial killers talking to each other about serial killing. And then you find out the the main serial killer, his reasonings are, they're fucking weird.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Next up is Cold Shoulder. This one is, it plays with the evil twin dynamic. This one was written well enough that I enjoyed it, though not much actually happens. Like, you get a little bit of a creep factor, but I don't even classify this one necessarily as horror, except for maybe the ending.
More like character driven?
Yeah, it's just like kids and how they, like their friend groups and family dynamics and stuff like that, but it's not really necessarily what I would consider an actual horror story, but I liked it. It was good. After that, we have Kara. This one I don't know really how to describe. I don't really want to give it away. It's only a couple pages. I think this is the shortest one in the collection. Again, another family dynamic kind of thing, but this one's written for lack of a better term, like a suicide letter kind of deal. It's a story about being like the bad child. If you're a bad child, it's because you don't do everything you're told. You don't just fall into line. So you're kind of different in that you're a free thinker, and about all I can really give away without giving the story out. Number 14, Swallow Your Pride. This was first printed in 6 Troubles, 7 Sins from Dark Village Publications, June 2024. This is I guess you can't say it's a serial killer story because I don't think it's actually stated that oh yeah, it is. I think, I don't remember if it's actually stated that the guy in the story is killing these women, but it's stated kind of off page that he was killing some lady. But anyway, this guy kidnaps a lady. It starts with an interesting, young lady's daily habit, going to the coffee shop and stuff. She is kind of accosted by a douchebag, and a Prince Charming, a handsome man, comes to her aid. But then later she meets this handsome man in a less inviting environment. This guy, she ends up in a dirty basement with some other girl who's also tied up, and they're pitted against each other for this guy's affections. He's a narcissist. He's an asshole. He is perfect in his own mind, but he is very handsome, so I guess that's something. But this one is one of those tales where you slowly loathe this guy. Like, you slowly realize how big of a hunk of shit this guy is. Like, he's kidnapping women, obviously a hunk of shit, but you think like, he's like, has some redeeming qualities, even though he's like a narcissist kind of thing. But then you just you loathe the guy, and then you hate the guy. And then when it's time for the comeuppance, you're very happy to see it happen to the guy. So it's another one where it's like, I really enjoy when I get to see some characters get brutalized. Yeah. Because they deserve it. And finally, and I would have gotten away with it too. First printed in Violent Advents, December 2024, which I'm also in. I have Maggot Party in that one. That is about a Christmas tree farm serial killer. Not really necessarily a serial killer as much as I would say a Jason Voorhees type of story. Yeah. It is let's just say Christmas Jason Voorhees or Leatherface or, giant slasher man. Yeah. That's a really fun one. Family goes to Christmas tree farm. I think it's a group of friends actually, but action pace. I think it's what Jones has become most known for is high action gore. Just a lot of fucking. I think a Bane breaking Batman's back kind of action. Just fucking angry. So Spencer, what worked and what didn't work for you in this collection?
Most of it worked. Like I said, I really enjoyed a great deal of it. I'd probably say that the circus one that you were talking about was probably like the least one. But it was really cool. I like the the different kind of stories that he was telling. They're not all.
A lot of his stories always go in a direction I don't expect.
Yeah,
which I like. They're almost weird sometimes. It's like, oh, I was not expecting, like the dinner with the dead one, with the vampire one. It's like, I had no, like the way this story's set up, I did not think it was going to go anywhere where it went.
And just like little, like he'll do like little things in each story that I like. And then like, though I did have to get used to some of like the British European things like that, because I think it was like in the circus one where they were talking about like the giving the one kid shit for being afraid of clowns, and it's like, you're afraid of clowns, be like, but people are afraid of getting like how did he say, like knife violence or something like that?
Yeah,
and I was just like, oh, America, that would just be getting shot.
Yeah.
Like,
Jones has a way of writing his stories, I find, maybe almost like a Clive Barker kind of, where it's like an American lens almost. So it's like a lot of this, like even like the circus one is like, I'm reading that and just immediately, and I am American, so maybe that's my brain just going, oh, this is set in America somewhere. Like a lot of these stories, I just, other than the place names, which are very British sometimes, I'm just like, oh yeah, this seems to just be a American small town story. But then you get things like that where you're like, oh yeah,
if I'm paying attention, this is clearly not set in America.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but when I think of circuses, I just immediately think of like Ray Bradbury, you know, middle America somewhere. I don't, for some reason, that's, where my mind goes to. And then you get hit, oh, this is probably Northern England or somewhere. So that's always fun, is, you get a little bit of a culture twist there. A few notes on the writing. He took some directions that I personally wouldn't have taken in the stories. I don't fucking remember exactly which ones, but there was a couple that were written, I think, first person, present tense.
Yeah.
And it's not that it was jarring, but I thought they would have been better in past tense. Or
I think the the haunted house story in the beginning, wasn't that written like first person?
Maybe.
And it's just like, it does take like some of the suspense out of it.
Yeah, there was just a couple. I think he had a few stories in here that were written in like a present tense. And my feelings on it. I don't think it leads well to horror all the time. It does if you're doing it as like an immediate response, like something's happening and you feel like you're there. But sometimes, which was the case with a few of these stories, I was like, it feels like that dulls the knife blade a little bit, Like if it was written in past tense or just maybe third person, or again, that's a little nitpicky. But there was just a couple instances where I was like, the story might have been better if he wrote it in a different way. But
then again, also, it's like, well, give him like kudos for he trying shit. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. I've done that with my stories, where it's like sometimes you write it and you want to stick with the writing style, and you afterwards, maybe I should have switched it, but it's done. Nothing wasn't like, oh, it took me out of the story or anything.
No.
It was just one of those things where, like, mainly the present tense, I was like, it's a little... Yeah, I still got sucked into the story the same. It's just, it maybe took a page longer than normal.
Again, and that's probably one of the things where it's like you, me, his other writing friends are probably would be like, oh, well, that was interesting. That was the thing. But then, like, just readers probably didn't.
The readers wouldn't give a shit, yeah. Mm-hmm. The other thing that...
The dirty, dirty readers.
Dirty, nasty readers. The other thing I noted was, and I might have even mentioned this when we... maybe not, because it wouldn't have been in Born of Bloodshed. So maybe I didn't note this before, but some of his stories, I felt the characters... I feel like I did mention this in Born of Bloodshed a little bit. I felt like the characters they spoke more advanced for their age.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of stories where I felt that I was reading A.D. Jones's dialogue, not the character's dialogue, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is the author. That's the author's words coming out of the character's mouth, not a 13-year-old boy or something,
Yeah.
Like, not that, not the dialogue was bad or anything. It's just I felt... for the age group, and I mean, I'm sure I'm guilty of this as well. When you're writing stories, this is supposed to be an 80-year-old man. Why does he sound like a 32-year-old man? It's hard to nail that. Or if you're writing women characters or gay characters, it's hard to get them exactly as just that's the character, not me trying to implement a voice on the character. So there was a few instances in the story, and maybe the circus one, I actually think maybe the circus one was more natural. I don't remember. There was one or two stories in here where I was like, I don't believe that's how the younger kids are talking. even in England.
Yeah.
You know, like I just didn't feel that it was. We were talking about certain text messages from a big event that happened here in America, where it's like, my dearest roommate, who I have adored since the moon was full, but I must admit that now the crescent has come to signify the end of the night. Like, no, the fucking 22 years aren't right. You know, they're not texting like that. They're not talking like that. So in this story, I felt like some of these stories, I felt that the characters could have been a little more natural in their age range. But that was, even their character actions, I don't think were like, that was fitting for the age group and stuff. So small gripe. Again, I don't think that's one readers would probably acknowledge too much. Because when I read reviews for stuff, I rarely ever see people complain about dialogue anymore. I used to. Like people, oh, that wasn't natural dialogue, or I don't believe that the characters talk like that. But nowadays, it seems like nobody really cares. Even when you get a book where every character sounds the same, which that drives me nuts. So you ever read a fucking book, you're like, why does every character sound like a 55-year-old man?
The same 55-year-old man.
Like the women, like everyone. Yeah, so I don't know. I thought that was a very solid collection. Like I said, other than the circus story, I enjoyed all the stories. Yeah. Which is very rare for me to enjoy that many stories in a collection. Usually I read a collection, I'm like, Like some of them, you know, I'm skimming by mid story. I just want to get done with it. But these were all very engaging. And I read it in a couple days, maybe or some day or two. So very fast read, very enjoyable. So
it's under like 200 pages.
Yeah. So I highly recommend you folks check out Deathbed Confessionals, coming out October 1st. So tomorrow, if we drop this when we're supposed to.
Now, is that, do you know, is that both like physical and digital, or is that just like digital? Do you know?
I would believe it's both. Okay. I would hope it's physical because his fucking cover is awesome.
Yeah, the cover is cool looking.
Does he? I don't know if on this Kindle edition he mentions who did the cover art. I know he's got a guy who does the cover art. Yeah, I can't find it.
I just didn't know if he would plan on doing both at the same time, or like
sometimes people delay it, but I would think he would. I don't know. But anyway, that was a review. I don't know what we're going to title this episode because we have like 2 more book reviews for this month. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It can't be book of the month because it's the beginning of the month, but I have to look what I did last year because we had a bunch of books. Yeah. So. Yeah, check out A.D. Jones. You can check him out on Instagram at Evergrowing Library. I believe that's his Instagram handle. You can check us out at DPW Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and Twitter, and Xbox Live, and not on Xbox Live. Is that even a thing anymore? PlayStation Store, the Google Play Store. I don't know. I don't know these things. You can check me out at CalebJamesK.com, where I got more publishing news. If you folks are interested, you probably won't, but my story, Jupiter's Ascent, came out in the Page Gallery's August Gallery special print edition, which is actually very cool looking. So I did get that story in print. It's exciting. Then Spencer, he is over there in Tasmania. Jesus, do I have to say it?
I prefer that you didn't.
Do I really have to say it? So he's in Tasmania, and he's tasting Toblerones. I took the turd out. Yeah. Still a brown stick-shaped thing, but not poop.
And it also has the word turd in it still. Kinda.
Toblerone?
Kinda.
No, not at all. There's no D in it.
Turderone.
Turd. I can't even say it. Thank you for listening, folks, and we will check you out next week.